Antonio, and he used to just kill me in practice. I mean, he's physical, he has tons of energy, and he's going to give up his body on the defensive end of the floor.
Ilgauskas turns on the baseline, shot won't fall. Francis with the rebound. Right now, Cleveland's 1 of 8 from the field to start this game.
The last 3 times Ilgauskas has faced Yao Ming, he's got 21 points each time. He plays his best ball against Yao Ming.
Cato trying to take Boozer, loses the handle. Needs some help. He finds a wide open Coutinho. Mobley, who buries a three-pointer.
Well, Ira Newble came across the lane trying to make that steal. He gambled, and that left Mobley wide open in that corner.
LeBron James.
LeBron is coming to a stop far too often.
McKinnis puts it on the floor, and then Newble, who tries, reverses. What a terrific move around Yao Ming.
The Detroit native who played a year ago in Atlanta has really come alive here in the opening moments here. He didn't like it when we mentioned that Carlos Boozer was the best forward in the game.
Yao Ming again, soft turnaround from the baseline. That's what you've got in these two big men. They're not traditional centers. These guys will come away from the bucket and knock down some shots.
For a guy 7'6", I mean, the touch is just unbelievable. Beautiful touch on that turnaround jump shot.
LeBron James off the mark and out of bounds.
But, John, how many traditional centers are there in the game?
There's not many left. You're right.
And I don't really think you can consider Shaq a traditional center. I mean, he's as unique as you get, other than Wilt Chamberlain.
Wow. You said it's right? Maybe. That may be a very good point. Because I heard it 5 times. Okay, I'll give you that next time. We'll get it straight. Promise me you're not going to complain on every call, though.
Bob Delaney's, you hear him, you're not going to complain on every
presentation of NBA Wednesday.
Scott Greg Anthony in the studio. Bananas finish. Milwaukee, Boston, Celtics down 5. Ricky Davis hanging, hits that. All right, Greg, Celtics after a free throw down 2. What should they do?
You had Ricky Davis there open for the lob. They chose not to go for it. Unfortunately, this is what they end up with. It's good, but it doesn't count.
But it's not good. Clearly came after the buzzer. McCartney's 3 off balance did not count. Bucks beat the Celtics 106-104. Elsewhere, Wizards beat the Raptors 76-74. So Wizards and Raptors, I can wax poetic about it, but I'll just give it back to John, who loves the Raptors.
You have that much range, Phil. I don't believe it. Boys to Men, I want you to name one song, Boys to Men. If you do that, I'll name a Grateful Dead song.
Trucking.
Capona puts it on the floor now, loses the dribble. We'll see if he can come up with one later. Francis to the glass, no good. Mobley with the follow. He's got 12.
That's what Houston needs to do more of. Get out in the open court with that athletic ability. You see Mobley able to catch the ball off the rim and finish.
This is such a great sign for Jeff Van Gundy, the spirit and excitement that his Rockets are playing with tonight.
And there's James finally getting on the board. I got Alonzo Mourning by the leg. And Alonzo drags him. Charles Oakley has to come in as a peacemaker, Bill.
That's how far we've come, where Charles Oakley is now the man reestablished. 39-33 is the score, mimicked by the field goal percentage. Neither team getting to the line. Cleveland showing why they're the best rebounding team in the league, but I want to know where the sense of urgency is. Cleveland come in tonight, a game and a half out of the playoffs. Toronto's already lost. They can make up a full game if they win this game. It's time for the Cavaliers to wake up and get going.
I agree. I mean, they moved in slow motion that entire half. They were unexciting. They weren't spectacular. That's not Cavs basketball. They like to get out in the open court, make some plays, get everybody fired up. They didn't do any of that in the first half.
LeBron 1 for 6. Ilgauskas was very active, but never mistaken activity for achievement. Steve Francis 1 for 6. Yikes, he's shooting under 40% on the entire season. And then Yao Ming 2 for 9. What is going on here? Is there something wrong with the water in South Texas?
I know you said it's a big man's game, but when the little guys show up, then it's an exciting performance. Then it's an exciting game.
You must have drank some bad water. Or listen to some bad music, one of the two.
The lob for James. He grabs it, sticks it back up and in, plus the foul.
What I tell you, Bill, I mean, again, when the little guys come to play, great catch by LeBron, a great finish over Yao Ming, I might add.
Well, yeah,
That's the fastest that LeBron has moved the entire
I
first
agree.
half.
I agree.
And the execution, Paul Silas, I would have loved to have been in that locker room. I was in that locker room.
Is
when Paul
Silas a yeller?
Selectively. Paul is a leader by example, which is the most effective way. I had the privilege of playing for Paul Silas and Paul's mentor himself, Lenny Wilkins. Right.
He may be a leader by example, but there's no way he can get out and show these guys what they're supposed to do. They need to bring the energy themselves.
That one-on-one Steve Francis stuff just is not working, Michelle.
Yeah, I talked to Paul Silas coming out of halftime. He said this is one of those games where we are flat, just flat. You have to will yourself to do things. We've got to trust in each other and believe in the things that really have nothing to do with basketball. Just believe in staying in this game, believe in making shots like that. He said we're hanging in there, but we have to keep executing. When we get open looks, we got to take them. And then as far as Mobley's concerned, he said he's the only one doing anything for Houston. We got to get out in front of him and stay on him, guys.
And how good has Jeff McInnes been since coming to Cleveland from Portland?
Well, that was a beautiful pass by LeBron James cross court to find McGinnis in the corner. Yes.
Who?
Michael Jordan. For one. I mean, LeBron is athletic. I mean, he's incredibly athletic. You talk about a guy, MJ, who could jump off both feet. You know, LeBron, I see him jump off one leg, and he's spectacular. It's almost like Dominique. You ever see Dominique jump off one leg? I mean, he could barely jump over a phone booth. But I mean, a phone booth. But you get him off of two legs and forget it. I mean, he's touching the top of the backboard.
Dominique used to jump off of my forehead on his way to dunking in my face.
Well, I mean, half his highlight films were against the Celtics. Are you kidding me?
10 years ago, the Atlanta Hawks
But it's much the same way.
traded Dominique Wilkins, and they've never recovered from that.
Now, the Cavs have their first lead of the game. LeBron James starting to heat up has knocked down the last two. A 10-2 run.
This is a completely different team.
Jordan Cato missed everything except the floor.
Just off the mark.
Just a bit off.
Is that where you pick up your glasses and you say, wait a second, what has happened here?
And you say, who opened the door?
Cato needs to, like they say, the old cliche, stay within yourself. You start floating out 15, 16 feet away from the bucket. That's a little outside his range.
Cleveland hasn't missed in this quarter. Oh, and there was a miss there, but Ilgauskas.
It's a pass.
Then Gundy, that's seen enough. This has just been ridiculous for Houston, as everybody for Cleveland has absolutely contributed.
LeBron working off a screen. You see he has that ability again to step outside and make the jumper. And then the little fadeaway. Beautiful shot, using that body well. And then again, in the low block area, just going right over the top of the smaller defender.
This is a classic example of a team list.
Where was that young man in the first half? And what must have Paul Silas said to him in the locker room as Cleveland opens the third quarter on a 12-2 run to grab a 4-point lead?
LeBron James, who's 7th in the NBA in minutes played. Allen Iverson leads that. LeBron's averaging 40 minutes a ball game. Third quarter, Cleveland 5 for 6, and Houston has yet to connect on 3 flailing attempts.
Christina Mobley, Vader. Oh, good strong rebound by Yao, but he just lost it on the way up. And now LeBron James picks it up.
You know, he's hot right now. I wouldn't give that ball up for anything.
Oh, the Boozer, though, on the baseline to miss. Rebounded by Cato.
But everything is happening for Cleveland. The ball movement, the pounding of the glass. Ilgauskas is everywhere on both ends of the court.
And Kelvin Cato use of the glass. Francis picks up McInnes.
But this is where they're so much better with McInnes in the half-court set, which is so much of the Eastern Conference style of play.
Dribble to Ilgauskas. He's open, takes a shot and buries conversion.
See, that's out there on land there, and Yao Ming doesn't want to come out of the water. And, you know, the big men like to stay in that paint area. They just hug it, and that's their security blanket. And once you get a guy that goes outside, it's impossible to stop.
The lob from Francis to Kelvin Cato is good, plus a push in the back against Carlos Boozer.
This is a guy who wasn't supposed to play tonight. Only played 13 minutes last night, Kelvin Cato, over in San Antonio because of the upset stomach in terms of the quality of play.
James cut off. Mobley trying to stay with him. Nobody does. And on the other side, Ira Newble comes in and tips that one back in.
We are seeing why Cleveland is the #1 rebounding team in the entire NBA. Ilgauskas, Boozer, Newble, Eric Williams, Tony Batiste, they're just quicker to the ball. They want it more.
Yao Ming powers his way past Ilgauskas, and then a shove. Frustration starting to boil over between Yao Ming and Zydrunas Ilgauskas.
I like it. It's going to bring a little bit more fire to these ball clubs.
Well, Paul Silas has been impressed with the increased level of toughness of Ilgauskas. And Ilgauskas was upset with the rotation of the arm of Yao Ming, his left arm.
Well, Yao Ming, that last basket, does a nice job stepping in front of Ilgauskas. And you see that power move, beautiful bank off the glass. And then this was the one, just the fluid turnaround, nothing but the bottom.
But it's one thing to get faced up, but Yao Ming lost his balance after the foul. And his left arm comes up after the play is already over and smacks him across the face. You have to be able to anticipate that those things are going to happen.
I think he also stepped on his foot at the same time. I'm not justifying what happened, but clearly Yao Ming was not intending to start any type of altercation there.
Well, Yao Ming scores a couple buckets on you, and he starts to get deep penetration again in the block area. You know, Ilgauskas has to take offense to it.
Ilgauskas and Cato picking up the technical fouls.
The effortless nature with which Yao Ming can fill up the stat sheet.
Terrific athletic ability.
He lost the ball.
He lost the ball, yeah. Still was able to recover. And all his dunks this year, we've seen a whole lot of them. That one was about a 2. I mean, it's all relative because he's had so many spectacular dunks.
But it gave them the lead, so pretty important dunk. Misses there on a little hook shot.
Play the shot clock if you're Houston. Or make a 3 in transition. Why not?
Jim Jackson buries the 3 to put the Rockets back on top.
You know what one of those shots are is when the coach is screaming at you not to take it. You knock it down. Good shot. Good shot. Good shot.
Final 10 seconds of the third quarter.
I don't like this. They waste so much time out in front.
Williams is open and rattles it down a 3.
I'm not sure what they're calling that. There's indecision on the referee's part.
Steve Francis got that very close when they were playing the Knicks before the game. Shook his hand. He really has a sense for the historical value of this game and the guys who came before, like you two guys.
Oh, and to hear him describe Sean Elliott's game, that was classic this afternoon.
Francis on Ollie tries to lose him and does. Swings it right back out. Jackson, there a 3.
A lot, but you know, it gotten to a point when, you know, he had David and he started getting timid. You know, he's a spot-up shooter, you know, and he played great defense. You know, I remember that shot he made against Portland when Rasheed Wallace came jumping and he made that shot, you know, high into the air, and it was just one of the, you know, greatest shots in playoff history. You know, Bill's a banger. He wore the high fro, wore the headband. He really, you know, he almost started the headband. Wore the throwback jerseys and the short shorts.
I stand corrected then.
Speaking of connoisseurs and fine basketball, how about the Rockets' improved decision-making? 4 assists on their last 5 baskets, heeding Jeff Van Gundy's call for smarter play.
5 on the shot clock. McGinnis, good look from 3, and buries it, and he knew it from the time it left his hand.
He can knock that shot down, especially when you leave him wide open like that. He's a big-time scorer at that position.
Gets the Cavs back to within 2. Gene Jackson. James steps out on him. Jackson waving. Yao Ming now. Goes at Ilgauskas, but Ilgauskas clearly looks stronger. And Weatherspoon, that's why they picked him up from the Knicks.
But that just shows you how strong Clarence Weatherspoon is, because he just took that ball right out of the hands of Carlos Boozer. Weatherspoon, 10 points, 6 boards, a block, and a steal.
He's been playing great defense as well. I mean, he's come on the court and earned his money for tonight.
Ilgauskas. Badly conceived jump hook, but Boozer goes in and picks it up. Now DeJuan Wagner didn't recognize that the ball never hit the rim, so 24-second violation.
Well, no one recognized it. No one was talking at all out there for the Cavs. No one realized that the shot clock was running down. They thought that ball hit the rim.
But this is a team that's still together. They believe in themselves. They're so positive. They're so confident. They still have a great chance to win this game and move within a half a game of the playoffs.
No question.
Yao Ming fighting hard with Ilgauskas, gets it up. Little rainbow over top of the 7'2" Ilgauskas, and gets it to fall. 15 for Yao Ming.
And the emotional pump of the fifth. They've always wanted more from the big man. They're getting it now.
Wagner trying to find some freedom out there. James into Boozer. Beautiful turnaround over Weatherspoon.
Well, he was just already deep in the block area when that ball swung around.
More intensity in the second half, but he's struggling from the field. Just 5 of 16 and 11 points. Yao Ming, the other star of the future, well, he's struggling 6 of 17, but he started to get it going now. And on the fast break, Houston with a huge advantage.
19 points on the break. That's unheard of for this team. In the cellar, they've won already more games than they won all of last year. They have a chance to make the playoffs. The kid is spectacular. He belonged in that game, period. And there's not a basketball man on this planet that can tell me a reason or reasons why he was not in that game. I just don't accept it.
Sounds like you should be coaching in this league, Sean.
Mobley gets it on the iron, plus he's fouled. Chance for a three-point play for Coutinho Mobley. It's time for the Cavaliers to get something on the board, because this one's slipping away. Now down by 7.
Block shot, Yao Ming.
Boozer grabs it and goes back up. Another rebound and 2 more points for Carlos Boozer, has 16 points and 18 rebounds.
There's nothing more frustrating for a big man than to block the shot and then have somebody else on the other team pick it up and throw it in. How many times did David and Timmy yell at you for not getting the ball that they sent back?
They never yelled at me.
Jackson had a good look from 3, doesn't get it. Great job by Francis to save the ball.
I hate it when you lie to me, Sean.
We were always yelling at the big people. You kidding me? Guards are always yelling at big men. Ask Avery Johnson.
Tough pass. That was going to be for Francis get through. Wagner to McGinnis.
Nice.
He gets one high and gets fouled by Jim Jackson. McGinnis has been a tremendous pickup by the Cleveland Cavaliers in that trade with Portland.
What a change of pace, change of direction. Van Gundy has to go to the score sheet to figure out what's going on. The fake of the three-point shot there, setting it all up. And McGinnis, who can make some three-point shots. Yeah. That's not the strength of his game. Van Gundy just cannot believe the mental breakdown. He's going to call a timeout. He's got a lot of work cut out for him in this huddle.
I'll give some credit to Wagner, too, because he could have easily forced the action on that break. Instead, he brought it back out and get
Clarence Weatherspoon, I think, is the reason why
the entire roster almost.
Fella Harrington was there.
And what about
he was a Scott Layden player. And Isaiah Thomas, if you're a Scott Layden player, you're no longer a Knick.
That's a good point.
And what about the Knicks, too? Lost again tonight and then started out hot. Looked like they were going to make a lot of noise, and now they've...
Well, yeah, with the injury to Allen Houston, that's a major
they were still playing well when Allen Houston was out. They were still playing well. The other day against the Cavs, I mean, that was just abysmal to go down at home by so many points. They dug themselves in such a hole.
Cavaliers are a good team, Sean.
I hear you.
DeJuan Wagner now wants some help. Everybody loses, turns around, a finger roll. Won't go, and Weatherspoon grabs the rebound. We're in the final minute.
That was too easy for him.
To see the interplay between Yao Ming and Coutinho Mobley there on the defensive breakdown, that was classic, the laughter and joking between them.
Mobley. So Yao Ming, who has the patience to wait for everyone to go, and he has 17.
And yet another timeout for Paul Silas.
He's in the Steve Kerr role.
There you
Sit
go.
on the bench almost the entire game. We ask you to make a big shot.
McGinnis, Spoon steps out on him. Ilgauskas goes for a three, and buries it.
That looked to be about the worst attempt maybe in the history of Cavalier basketball. And then it went down.
17 points for Ilgauskas between shot and game clock, so they've got the work cut out of them to score and then foul quickly.
In transition, on the run here, trying to get LeBron open on the fly.
And you don't need the three because you're down by 5, so you just need to score. McGinnis spins. Terrific job, and he wanted a foul as well. Now they must foul. And Jim Jackson gets hit.
Then high to Ilgauskas, and then watch Kapono's cut to the corner or the opposite direction that Ilgauskas is flashing.
And get it right back. McGinnis got to go to work faster. 3 for James. Well off the mark. Spoon with the rebound. And Mobley comes up with the ball, and there's only 6 seconds left. The Houston Rockets are going to walk off with a victory.
Only 8-15 all season against teams above 500, the worst of all teams with winning records. Their opponents, Minnesota, the best record against teams with winning records. Let's go to the first quarter. See if that Nets streak is still alive. Nets are playing some defense. Jason Kidd, the steal and the push. Richard Jefferson to Kenyon Martin. Nets had it going on, up 8 after the first quarter. In the second, Kevin Garnett, nice fake, and the jam. Tied at 32 at the break. That's right, 32. Kidd breaking the other way to Jefferson. Nets were down 1 after 3. But in the fourth, Troy Hudson took it over. Hudson had 12 points in the fourth quarter alone. Hudson finished with 29. The Nets win streak is finished as well. Tim Legler, what about the loss?
The Minnesota Timberwolves used defense and depth to defeat the New Jersey Nets and end that 14-game winning streak. They shut the New Jersey Nets transition game down after the first quarter, made them play a half-court type of basketball, and the Nets never really shot the ball well all evening long. And depth. Troy Hudson comes in, fills in for the injured Sam Cassell, and scores 12 points in a 15-0 run at the start of the fourth quarter to put the New Jersey Nets away and end that winning streak.
Basketball 101, right? You got to get to the line to win. The Nets attempted 5 free throws, making one of them accused of a felony, but he talks about his offseason.
As I've been saying, at the end of the season, I'm really going to sit down and just evaluate every option, and break down every team, and Denver's one of them.
That's surprising that he's considering Denver. Kobe's game is not surprising. Getting it from Shaq. What was good, son? Kobe had 35, averaging 33 his last 5. Same quarter, though, what was really good? Carmelo Anthony, he dropped 35 himself. Nuggets up 12 at recess. Fourth quarter, Carmelo at the jump. 6th 30-point game this year. Nuggets up 13. Ball game in hand, right? Come on, not yet. Kareem Rush hits the big 3. Nuggets up 4. Then Andre Miller. Denver trying to avoid their first 4-game skid of the year. Miller coast to coast. Nuggets up 4. But check out Luke Walton, the steal. Luke Walton, that's the best defensive play in the history of civilization. Lakers down 2, under 30 seconds left. Andre Miller puts up the air ball. Shot clock violation. Inadvertent whistle causes a jump ball. Lakers with the jump ball. Remember, they were down 13 late, down 2. Kareem Rush. But jump shot freaks on the boys in the yard. My J is better than yours. Rush, 8 points off the bench, hit both of his 3s. Denver one last chance. Miller misses. Lakers come back to win it. They close the game on a 23-11 run. Ball game. Inside Sports Center, the phenom of the Rockets, sky-high big man going overall draft picks. LeBron leading rookies 21 points a game. Commissioner David Stern said, I thought expectations for him were so outsized and that he couldn't possibly live up to them. I was wrong. LeBron shows you the quick hands and the quickness. Only at 11, 5 of 18 shooting. It gives you an idea how the Cavs did. They were up 1, though, at this point. Fourth quarter, Rockets up 3. Steve Francis, the kick out. There's Yao Ming. Yao had 17 and 8 to go along with his 3 blocks. Late in the fourth, Coutinho Mobley, he had himself a ball game. You look at the two teams, did you think Mobley would have a game-high 22? He did. Rockets go up 7. Cavs down 5 now. Jeff McInnes working the baseline floater. Cavs within 2 after the freebie. Under a minute left. Mobley again, this time not scoring. Nice look to Yao. Rockets 7-3 since that 4-game losing streak.